Jen from Fabulous Paper Emporium. I have got a card tutorial for you today, and we are doing the Bendi card. I don't know why it's called the Bendi card, but it is. So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. We are doing a Father's Day card since Mother's Day has now passed. I guess it's next. The dads are up next. So here we go. We are using the Rad Dad paper pack from Photoplay, which we have in store and is available right away. So here we go. We're going to get down to the paper sizes. So I am using some black paper for my bases. And for the very bottom base of the card, we are going to use paper that is 10 inches by 5 inches. And we will be scoring this at 1.5, at 5, and at 8.5. Then we are going to use another piece of black cardstock, although it doesn't necessarily have to be black because it is going to be completely hidden. And this piece is the piece that's going to be kind of it's going to be dependent on the front piece that you're going to use. So for my card, I'm using this piece that is 6 by 4. So my piece is going to be an inch wider than your actual front piece. And because this was an offcut, I just kind of used what I had. It does not have to go all the way to the edge. You can certainly do that if you want. I wouldn't go any further than the height of your piece. So, like I said, for this card, it's 6. So on this piece, we have 7 inches. And then I think the height of my Happy Father's Day is 4 inches. And so this one I did at 3.5. Okay, so you do want it substantial, but I would probably reduce it by, about anywhere from like an inch to a half an inch. Hopefully that's clear. And this you are going to score at half an inch on either side to give you these cool little tabs. That's what is going to secure this and make it appear like it's floating on the front of the card. So I guess maybe that's why it's called bendy. It's not really like foldy, so it just is going to bend like that when the card is open. I'm going to be using this beautiful like rusty orange for my first layer. And for this, you are going to need 4 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And I have 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 4 3/4. And then for our beautiful designer paper, you are going to need 3 pieces. Now what I've done here is I have done 2 pieces that are the same, which are going to be on the front. And then because your sentiment and everything is going to go on the back side, I chose to use this one that has a bunch of, hey dad, love my daddy, that kind of thing. And of course we have a white piece. So all 4 of these pieces, these 2 and these 2, are all cut exactly the same at 3 inches by 4.5. And then lastly, I have these 2 pieces that are cut for our little side panels. And these are cut at 1 by 4.5. Okay, basically it's just about layering, so it should be smooth sailing from here on out. We are going to first start with our 4 panels. So I'm going to gather those up, set those to the side, and whoops, I'm going to leave those off. So basically now we're just taking our liquid glue. You can use tape runner, double-sided tape, liquid glue, glue stick, whatever you have handy will work. So flip that over, and it never comes out the first time. Like, I just will never understand the mysteries of a fine tip liquid glue, but here we go. We're gonna get this glue all the way around the perimeter and down the middle. And then just trying to leave as equal of a border all the way around. So this will be our panel for the back as well as this piece. I just love this paper collection. You don't have too many out there for dads, but I feel like that is changing now as far as like very masculine looking or feeling paper, which is great to see. Because for those of us who prefer to make our cards, it can be somewhat challenging. So right now we have this Rad Dad, which is by no means a new collection, but it's one that we brought in because, again, it's kind of one of those few Father's Day themed papers. And then we also have Grease Monkey, which of course is another, you know, mainly masculine paper collections. And another one of my favorites certainly is that Grease Monkey one. So much fun. And I mean, certainly doesn't have to be used for a guy. If there's someone that you know, if there's a woman out there, mechanic, or someone who loves working on their cars, then by all means. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to do the same thing with our two strips. These ones will go on our little flaps. I was remiss in mentioning that I was inspired by, I think it's called Iced Images, if I'm not mistaken. Iced, I think that's what the name of the company is that does, and she's on YouTube as well and does some tutorials. So I saw her tutorial on this winged, I think she called it a winged bendy card. So anyways, that's where the inspiration came from. Okay, so before I've got all of my layers done, they're ready to go. So now to deal with this card, or this piece, I should say, I'm going to want to grab my bone folder. I want this to curl a bit, and I don't want to have to fight with it. I'm going to do the same thing to my top layer, because this is really going to, you want your card to kind of have this profile. So it will lay flat. I promise it will lay flat. So you're just going to have to believe me for right now. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to my top piece and just kind of, excuse me, break those fibers and get it so that it is happy in kind of like a crescent shape. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, it was easier to do them separately than it is to do them together, although you can certainly do them together. I am not applying the glue to this side, even though I had it in my hands and I could have possibly made that mistake. I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm going to apply the glue here because this is a smaller piece. If I applied my glue to my Father's Day sentiment card, cut apart, whatever you want to call it, I would have had far too much glue and that would have been a little bit messy. So just adding some, you know, extra fun glue dots, if you will. And we are going to apply this onto the card base, or the base that we have cut for ourselves. Just trying to make that, okay, that didn't work so good. There. Line that up on one side. It doesn't have to be like perfectly centered, which it's not. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, we're going to do this again. I'm going to apply my glue. Time to focus. Get serious here for a second. I'm just kidding. It's crafting after all. We're making and creating, and you know, that is not always serious. Okay. So I want to align my score marks with the sides. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure we have really good adhesion, which we do. I'm loving that. What I am going to do though for the side little tabs is I am going to grab my score tape, because I do feel like this requires a little bit of added insurance, stickiness, what have you. Definitely want to make sure that I stay within the lines so that I'm not, you know, going to stick it down by accident. I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Whew, it really is very difficult. I should have really laid it down flat, because it was difficult seeing the black on black. Okay, so for these pieces, as I do most of the time with score tape or double-sided tape, I use score tape. You are going to lay, oh wait, we need to put these in first. So now that this part's done, I apologize, we need to hold on for a second, put our panels on first, and then put the bendy piece in. That was a close one. So apply some glue to the back, and then doing my best to make sure that I have this as centered as possible, which I believe I do. And then we're going to lay this one down to match. Okay. There we go. Since we have our card laying out here, I might as well apply some glue to the backs of our two winged strips. I just love the colors in this collection. I had made another card, which the tutorial will be live probably in the next couple of days, using the exact same paper pack, and matched it up with the green, like this kind of olivey green. But you can do that with the greens. There's this lovely blue, the two shades of blue here, the orange, which I decided to use today. And just for the sake of, you know, not forgetting to add these, I might as well add them on now. And I'm going to put this one on this side. And then this one. The more cards I make, the more I seem to really gravitate to putting the sentiment on the back. And this way, you know, the card kind of shines. You can put some big things on the front, as opposed to, you know, having to make sure that you've got enough space for the sentiment or a message, that kind of thing. So anyhow, that's my 2 cents. But so this card, like I said, does lay flat. You're wanting to get this as centered as possible. And so I've peeled back 2 little bits of the double-sided tape. Obviously this one's adhered a little bit. So I've pulled those back, and that way, if I'm not liking where my sentiment is, it's just, you know, kind of pulling that up a little bit on the corner, which is super easy to do, as opposed to peeling off the strips and then having to take it all up with a hope and a prayer, basically. So I'm liking where that is. I'm just going to rub the corners that I have already peeled back. And then because you've got this little tab here, I'm just going to pull that tab and then press down. And I'm going to repeat the exact same thing on the other side. So you're not pushing hard. And then, you know, when the card is sitting on, you know, your father's desk or your husband's desk or, you know, whoever it is that you're giving this to, then this is kind of the profile that you have. This is how the card looks as it's standing. Just like a super, like, cool card to do. I just absolutely love this card. And you have obviously your back side, which has plenty of room for you to write. And that is the Bendi card. So hopefully you have enjoyed this. This is a super fun card to do for just about every occasion. If you have a pack of, paper, like a paper collection rather, and you've got some cut aparts that are 5x7, this is, or I shouldn't say 5x7, 4x6, this is like really the perfect use for them. You could of course just cut some paper, fold it, and that is perfectly fine. But this just kind of takes this to the next level. And if you fold these wings in and flatten it, it actually is 5x7. So not a terrible size to be shipping or mailing if you have to. So once again, hopefully you have found this tutorial helpful and useful in any way, shape, or form. And if you have, please give me a big old thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. We get back to absolutely every single one of you. And if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it, good, bad, or ugly. So, and if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button with the bell. We are really trying to get to 1,000 followers this year and looking forward to it. And that's about it. So hopefully you have had a fantastic time. You have a wonderful day and you're staying safe and well. Thank you so much. Bye.